talking about bans on any level, what's the alternative? And where are these people going to go?
Across the West tonight, communities weigh in on a new U.S. Supreme Court ruling in an Oregon case that will impact the homeless. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Frank Malakote. Today's ruling involved a case out of Grants Pass, Oregon, northwest of Medford. It gives West Coast communities the ability to enforce bans on people that are sleeping outdoors. Fox 12's Ezra Kaplan reports one of those bans is set to take effect in Portland next week.
The 9 justices were split along ideological lines, 6-3. Neil Gorsuch was joined by 5 other conservative justices in the majority opinion, writing that Grants Pass's laws penalizing sleeping in public spaces only criminalized camping, not homelessness. It makes no difference whether the charged defendant is currently a person experiencing homelessness, a backpacker on vacation, or a student who abandons his dorm room to camp out in protest on the lawn of a municipal building. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote the dissenting opinion, saying that sleep is a biological necessity, not a crime. She wrote, "The majority focuses almost exclusively on the needs of local governments and leaves the most vulnerable in our society with an impossible choice, either stay awake or be arrested." But don't expect much to change immediately in Portland.
We'll let the Supreme Court decision sort of shake out.
Dan Field is the director of the Joint Office of Homeless Services.
We don't want anybody to be homeless. And so even as the Supreme Court and our elected officials are sorting through the politics, know that the Joint Office is committed to serving people who are homeless.
While the county is responsible for services, it's the city that decides how to make and enforce the rules. Portland Mayor Wheeler says in a statement that the Supreme Court decision will have little or no impact locally. That's because of an Oregon law that requires camping laws to be reasonable in terms of time, place, and manner. Wheeler says that the city will still begin its daytime camping ban on July 1st, this Monday. In Washington County, Vernon Baker runs Just Compassion, which provides a variety of services to people who are unhoused.
My concern is that whenever you start talking about bans on any level, what's the alternative? And where are these people going to go?
He says there needs to be more of a focus on working together to build up support systems that address core problems.
These individuals have a right to have access to services and resources that can improve their situations and where they're going. And to just look at one side versus the other is not going to get us to a place where we're going to see the type of results that are needed in order to improve pretty significantly what's taking place regarding homelessness in all of our communities.
He's an optimist and says that beyond the news of today's Supreme Court decision, progress is being made.
I think the plans that most counties have are good plans. It's just the time in which it's going to take to get to that ultimate end goal is going to take a little longer than a lot of people have anticipated.
A plea for patience as a community works to fix problems decades in the making.
And that was Fox 12's Ezra Kaplan reporting. The ruling on Grants Pass versus Johnson has made it clear being homeless is not a status protected by the 8th Amendment's prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. That decision comes as a number of homeless people in Washington state grew 11% from last year. The lack of housing and shelter is evident as encampments grow from Seattle to Burien.
Homelessness isn't going to go away. The Grants Pass decision isn't going to change that one way or another. We still need shelter.
In Seattle, the city attorney supports the Supreme Court ruling, saying the decision emphasizes the importance of local authority. And San Francisco city officials are reacting as well. Mayor London Breed responded today, saying the city always offers shelter first, but the mayor reports about 60% of people living in encampments in the city either refuse that shelter or return after leaving the encampment.
Those who want to linger on the streets of San Francisco and set up their encampments and not be moved and wreak havoc on communities, we are going to do everything we can to remove them.
San Francisco city attorney also chiming in, saying he believes the decision gives the city flexibility to handle homelessness crisis. If you'd like a closer look at how communities across the West Coast are taking the news of today's Supreme Court hearing, or ruling rather, head over to our website, westcoastwrap.com. People are being asked to get out of the way of two more wildfires in the West. The Basin fire spreading rapidly in California's Central Valley. But we begin tonight's wildfire coverage in Arizona. Fox 10's Lauren Clark spoke with people helping evacuees as the Boulder View fire grows east of Scottsdale.
It's been a very busy day and afternoon for the volunteers here at the Red Cross, trying to take care of those who are victims of this fire. So far, they've serviced around 20 to 30 people.
And so we do have people still on the go. That's what we need to verify. Yep. All right, thank you so much.
Those are still in the same status.
All right.
For Sunny Parker,
my phone has blown up incredibly since last night.
It's been nonstop since last night.
From 1 o'clock until maybe 6:30 this morning, I probably got between 400 and 600 phone calls.
And it's only going to get busier.
We have one ranch that wants to evacuate. They've got 45 horses, so that'll be our next project here. If the winds shift, they'll all be coming out this way.
The president and founder of Arizona Foothills 911 is helping livestock and other animals forced to evacuate from the Boulder View fire. Using the Cave Creek Rodeo grounds to board over 30 horses.
We had a bunch of horses evacuated here last night. We also have 4 pigs, 16 chickens, and a variety of other animals. It's been extremely busy. People are afraid.
Across the road,
we provide care and comfort to the people who need it.
Pat Simmons with the Red Cross is helping with the evacuation site at Cactus Shadows High School.
Place for them to come, cool off, hang out, get information as we get it. We pass it on.
They've served about 20 to 30 people so far, including people who are dropping off their pets in a partnership with the Arizona Humane Society. As for Sunny, she's prepared for another sleepless night.
I would like to ask people that have horses to please be responsible, proactive, be ready before any disaster hits.
The Red Cross is also encouraging anyone, if they need a place to stay, to come over here to Cactus Shadows High School, where they can get air conditioning, water, and food to eat. Reporting here at Cactus Shadows, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
And the Boulder View fires burned at least 3,200 acres of brush since that began yesterday. No containment tonight. Investigators are still trying to figure out how that fire got started. There's also no containment tonight of a wildfire that's growing in California's Central Valley. Time-lapse video here from cameras mounted in Fresno County show how much smoke the Basin fire is putting up into the air. Fires burned nearly 7,500 acres since that began on Wednesday. Fresno County Sheriff's deputies, they are patrolling sections of the Sierra National Forest, ordering people in campers to evacuate. How that fire got started, still under investigation as well. And crews are fighting the Darlene 3 fire in Oregon. They're making progress there. The fire burning about 30 miles south of Bend is 42% contained tonight. It's burned nearly 4,000 acres near La Pine. Evacuation orders have been lifted, but people in the area are being warned to be ready to leave homes again if necessary. Investigators have not said anything about what may have started that fire. Well, as President Biden admits to fumbling during the campaign season's first debate, Vice President Kamala Harris making stops all across the West Coast. She made her first stop at a rally in Las Vegas this morning. In front of a crowd, she said this race will not be decided by one night in June.
The stakes of this race could not be higher. Second, the contrast in this election could not be more stark. For all of that, our president made clear there is a contrast between someone who lies and someone who leads. Let's start with the thing we have always known. Donald Trump is unburdened by the truth.
After that stop, the vice president attended a fundraiser in Park City, Utah. She's expected to attend yet another campaign event in Los Angeles later tonight. Vice President's Nevada trip happened during a gathering of key voting bloc in Las Vegas. Here's what some voters with the League of United Latin American Citizens said who they will vote for.
I do think it is not only the presidential candidate, but also who they surround themselves with. And so if they can surround themselves with people who are more relatable, who are more informed on what younger generations are interested in and are advocating for, then that could maybe compensate for some of their older ages.
So I wrote in Gaza for the primary in my Democratic ballot. I don't agree with everyone who's at the encampment in my school, but neither do people sleeping in the same tent as each other, right? And I think that's a hugely important issue.
The New York Times editorial board wants to see President Biden drop out of the race after last night's debate performance. That call went out today as President Biden and former President Trump took their post-debate message out on the campaign trail.
As every American saw firsthand last night, this election is a choice between strength and weakness, competence and incompetence, peace and prosperity, or war or no war.
During a campaign rally at Chesapeake, Virginia today, former President Trump blasted President Biden for a debate performance he called weak. And President Biden insists he's the best candidate to lead the country another 4 years. He rallied supporters in Raleigh, North Carolina today, called attention to both performances on last night's debate stage.
I don't know what you did last night, but I spent 90 minutes on a stage debating a guy who has the morals of an alley cat. I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth.
President Biden, former President Trump are expected to participate in another debate coming up in September. Nevada has verified enough signatures to place a measure on the November ballot to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution. Today, election officials certified the signatures. Voters in Nevada made abortion legal up to 24 weeks back in 1990, but a state law is more vulnerable to change than the constitutional protection that organizers are seeking because the measure aims to amend the Constitution. Voters must approve the ballot question twice, once this November and again in the year 2026. Well, it's a big night for hockey fans. Coming up, we're going to show you how the San Jose Sharks handled their first-round draft pick in Las Vegas. And the word adorable probably doesn't come to mind when you think of a traffic stop. See what happened in Arizona that might change that. Coming up.
What a spectacular Friday night in the city by the Bay, the city of San Francisco. Looking out towards the Golden Gate Bridge, inland away from the Bay Area, a heat advisory goes into effect. We'll talk about that with your West Coast wrap forecast on the other side of this fast Fox break.
Well, big doings in Las Vegas. San Jose Sharks had the first round picks today, including the first overall. That's a first in franchise history. And KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll tracked today's draft excitement from the Sharks' home at San Jose's SAP Center.
Well, it was a goosebump moment here when the Sharks announced that they would be taking Macklin Celebrini with their #1 overall pick, really to the surprise of no one. But then with that 11th pick, they took Sam Dickinson. So fans here are just really excited about the influx of young new talent coming to San Jose. Now, fans extremely excited about the picks, but also the hope that these guys bring this organization that had the worst overall record in the NHL last season. Certainly a reason to celebrate today. And while fans were pumped having the opportunity to rebuild in this way, it was the Sharks' first ever #1 overall pick. It also brings a lot of excitement to the front office here.
I got in fairly early this morning, thinking I'd be one of the first people in the building at 8:30, and there were already like 50 people here.
Now, he also told me that this watch party is officially the largest draft watch party in NHL history, saying that he was glad that they could take Celebrini, a kid with ties to the Bay Area. He actually moved here in 2018 with his family when his dad, Rick, became the Warriors Director of Sports Medicine. Now, Macklin also played for the U14 team here in San Jose, now making that full circle return to play with the Sharks, this time as the #1 overall pick. Reporting in San Jose, I'm Bailey O'Carroll, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Alrighty, Bailey, Macklin, Celebrini coming to the Sharks. A lot of people are expected to get out for the 4th of July holiday. All the fun started early on. Some of the West Coast beaches over the weekend. A live look at Santa Monica Beach in Southern California at this hour. Still pretty crowded. Just one destination expected to be mighty busy ahead of the actual holiday, which of course is coming up on Thursday. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, tracking a big warm-up before the fireworks go off. Hey,
That's
Roberta.
one of my favorite beaches right there. The water temperature 68 degrees. The air temperature in Santa Monica 71. Let's take a look at the California state map here because you see the fog bank has retreated from the seashore, allowing the abundance of sunshine in Los Angeles. There you have Santa Monica. There you have Manhattan Beach, and Malibu is over there. So about, let's say, 23 miles just outside of Los Angeles is Santa Monica. It's about a 17-minute drive on the I-10 heading due west. It was 81 degrees in downtown Los Angeles today. Tomorrow, pretty similar conditions once the fog scrapes away. Let's head to Phoenix, where the high temperature was 111. The average high is 107, so well above average. Plus, you had that big deck of cloudiness today, some muggy conditions with monsoonal moisture in the area. Again, the high temperature there was 111. Meanwhile, again, looking at Phoenix for the weekend, temperatures flirting with 108, 109, up to 111, the outside number. Now we're heading to the San Francisco Bay Area. What we're looking at is the estuary. You have the Oakland Coliseum over there, and then across the bay, over the Bay Bridge, you have 72 degrees in San Francisco, slightly above normal. Just a beautiful day in the Bay today. Seattle, Washington had the abundance of cloud cover, 64 degrees. And now let's head on over to Denver, where we did have strong afternoon thunder activity, 93 degrees. All right, any more rain in the forecast? Well, it looks like we will see a smattering of precipitation up to about 1/4 inch in the Pacific Northwest by Sunday. Same in the Mile High City, and under 1/10 inch of rain in Phoenix due to the monsoonal moisture. Currently 108 in Las Vegas. Well, that was an afternoon high. 105 in Tucson and 97 degrees at the state capitol in California in Sacramento. Now, currently it's 62 degrees in San Francisco, 89 in Reno. How about 83 degrees in Salt Lake City? And it's cool to 104 in Las Vegas. Here's the deal. We do have an area of low pressure well to the north, and it is scraping up against the Pacific Northwest, bringing a shield of cloudiness all the way to Medford and Portland, Oregon. A few of those clouds will nick the Mendocino County area of California as well as Humboldt County, but it is wiping away that marine layer in Los Angeles a little bit earlier each day this weekend. Now, what we're looking at is after Monday in the San Francisco Bay Area, an excessive heat watch goes into effect all the way through Friday with temperatures into the triple digits. Hot weather continuing in the Phoenix area as well. In Denver, thunderstorm activity persists all the way through Sunday. Have yourself a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Roberta. A new court ruling keeps actor Alec Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial on track to begin next month in New Mexico. Today, a judge rejected another request to dismiss the case. Defense attorneys argue the gun that went off on a Santa Fe movie set back in 2021 had been damaged before it could be examined for evidence that might exonerate Baldwin. Actor was holding the gun when it fired, killing the cinematographer. Jury selection set to begin on July the 9th. And attorneys for Lori Vallow, the so-called doomsday mom, have filed a new motion to delay her trial in Arizona. Vallow was found guilty of killing her 2 youngest kids in Idaho. She's also accused of conspiring in the murder of her ex-husband, Charles Vallow, and an attempted murder of a relative back in 2019. The defense is now asking the judge to push that trial date back from August of this year to February of 2025, saying there are over 100,000 pages in the case now to review. Up next, a crisis for small business owners. Business is down, rent is soaring. What's behind this dilemma and what business owners are being forced to do? And she can barely see over the wheel, but that didn't stop this toddler from taking an Arizona joyride. The punishment for this wannabe driver when we come back. Welcome back. A lot of small business owners across the West are worried that they won't be able to keep up their rent much longer. Fox Kennedy Hayes shows us how the cost of doing business is putting some people at risk of losing their livelihoods.
A study from the Bank of America Institute found rents are going up all across the country. It's being felt most by small businesses in the West, where the average percentage of rent payments was more than double the national average in May. Small businesses in Denver tell me it's hard to keep up.
Cost of rent has been very high and very unpredictable, so I've been looking for a new location, and it's been very difficult. Rents are very high right now.
Latest data from April shows around 43% of small business owners in the U.S. were unable to pay their full rent on time. The study says the number hasn't been this high since the height of the coronavirus pandemic in March 2021.
We're looking in also other states because there's a lot of people that are moving out of Colorado, out of Denver, a lot of businesses because the price is just too high to run business.
Up to 20 cities coast to coast have seen an increase in their rent over the past year. Small businesses in Las Vegas, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. making some of the biggest payments.
A lot of times businesses opt not to deal with the rising costs. They opt simply to close. And as you walk along up the street, you will see there are storefronts changing as we speak.
The Bank of America Institute explains rents are pricier largely because of inflation.
You know, it's always on our mind of looking for another place that's maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit smaller. You don't see the buildings growing with the rent increases. Say, we have the air conditioning of a building from the 1980s.
A coffee and comic shop business owner says his store has been open more than a decade. He hopes the city builds more homes in the area so more customers move in.
Until those people are here, it's just wishful thinking.
Business owners say they've had to raise some of their prices for customers. It's helped pay the bills a little bit, but if rent prices don't go down, they may need to move to cities with a better cost of living. In Denver, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Well, police in Prescott, Arizona, say they caught a pint-sized driver out on the road driving recklessly without a license. Here's a photo of when the officer pulled that little toddler over. Police say there was an open container of juice in her cup holder, and they say she's subject to a nap time violation. She was escorted home, where parents say she is now spending some hard time in the timeout corner. Her parents also say she immediately requested to call grandma. No word on that phone call. No word on when the tiny driver will be released from the timeout, but lesson learned. Want to thank you for joining us tonight on this Friday. You can stay up to date on all our stories we're covering online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com and stream all your shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. Friday night, big holiday weekend. We leave you with a beautiful shot of the Sphere with the NHL hockey draft is going on tonight and again tomorrow. Have a great holiday week, everybody.